Welcome to Focus on the Falls. I'm John Mercure, joined today by Caitlin Windler. She is the Director of Finance and Operations in the Menomonee Falls School District. Caitlin, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
An important conversation that we have every year. It helps me because I don't really understand fully the funding formula for school districts and the tax bill, and it's so important. I thought we could start with the funding formula. Can you kind of explain at a high level how funding for school districts works in the state of Wisconsin?
Yes, absolutely. So school districts in the state of Wisconsin function under the revenue limit formula. The revenue limit formula is kind of a complex formula, but at the gist of it is a per pupil dollar amount times the resident membership. And that really gives us the total revenue limit that we have to function underneath. And the total revenue limit is the amount of money that a school district receives from property taxes and state aid. So the secondary formula then is the equalization aid formula, which ultimately determines our final tax levy. The revenue limit, though, is kind of that main formula that ultimately determines how much money a school district receives that can function under.
So every year, literally, do people like you have to go through the formula and find out how much money a district has to spend?
Yes, exactly. So we do that. Really, the budget process never ends. As soon as one budget finishes, we're starting the next budget cycle right away. So as soon as the budget was approved at the end of October, we're looking at the budget assumptions that we work through for the 23-24 budget as we plan into the next year, and then start assuming some of those budget factors, that per pupil membership, that per pupil dollar amount increase that we may or may not receive in the next state biennial budget.
Are there some districts that benefit more than others because of how the formula is set up? A district like the Falls, how does that help us or not do us a lot of help?
That's a good question. And it is a little goofy based on every school district's individual factors. So one of those factors is whether or not a school district has increasing or decreasing enrollment, resident membership. So when a school district has decreasing membership, there is an exception in the formula that kind of, it's not always straightforward in what you think it might happen. But for the school district of Menomonee Falls, our resident membership in the last few years has actually been increasing, which is helpful for our school district.
That's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing for us to receive more funds.
Has the formula changed over the years?
Good question. So what happens every 2 years is the state puts forward a biennial budget. So they function on a 2-year budget cycle. It's always the odd years. So we're coming into the 23-25 state budget year. And what happens is the state tells us how much money we'll receive in an increase or not in the per pupil dollar amount. So what we look for each year is how much money we'll receive in addition to what we already have in our per pupil amount. And that's a super impactful number for our school district and for all school districts in calculating their total overall revenue.
Caitlin Windler is with us on Focus on the Falls. So is there lobbying that takes place? Are there discussions that take place as our elected leaders? Like right now, I know I just had the speaker on another show that I do, and they're doing the budget right now. Do we have a voice in that conversation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we work with our state legislators. We're communicating with them written, and we'll meet with our state legislators. And we do have lobbyists that work on behalf of school districts in Wisconsin, which is very important for our state legislators to understand how what their decisions are doing impact school districts. And they impact them in a very big way. The revenue limit is the main source of our funds that we have to function within. So if we don't have enough funds, we're always working to balance our budget, and we have to make sometimes difficult decisions based on what the state legislator is giving or not giving to school districts in those increases.
So you're a young leader, so it's hard for me to ask you a lot of these history questions. Is it difficult, has it been over the years when you get to this time of year, because decisions have to be made and you need to crunch the numbers, and you're kind of leading Jim Hayden and the school board and the district and the decisions that they make. Is it frustrating and tough, or is it fun because you're a numbers person?
So I mean, I'm in this role for a reason. I think that this is enjoyable, and I find my role to be impactful in the lives of students, and I really appreciate that. It is difficult when you go into a new state biennial budget and you don't know those factors. So you're making assumptions. Right now it's December, and we might not know our state budget till July, August, even maybe into September, which happened a few years ago. So at this time we're making assumptions, and we kind of run different scenarios. We're running worst case, we're running best case. The governor put forward a scenario which I'm considering best case scenario, and that would be great if our state legislators pass that.
And he's an education guy, so his default's going to be, let's fund education, because he understands the formula.
Right, absolutely.
So as we get to this time of year and you're working through those scenarios and you're crunching the numbers and doing this and that and the other thing, how closely do you work with other departments in the district so that they're aware this is kind of what might be coming, this is what we're looking at.
Absolutely. So very close, and we're always collaborating. We meet as a cabinet team. We meet with our HR and personnel committees to make sure that we're all aligned with what we need to do long term for our budget planning, for staffing, those types of things. And we are always looking at long-term decisions. We're not making decisions for just this year. We're always looking at how will this impact our students and families down the road in terms of finances and education.
So Caitlin, when the rest of us see the headlines that say, legislature and governor can't agree on budget, or budget won't happen for another 3 months, we kind of roll our eyes, but for you, it's really critical that you know and that they get that done so that the funding of the district and the functioning of the district can continue at a high level, right?
Absolutely. And I will say too, one of the biggest pieces this year is that we are facing an ESSER funding cliff. So ESSER were those dollars that school districts received for COVID relief funds. And as those run out, school districts did not receive increases in their per pupil dollar amounts. As state legislators said, you know what, use these to supplement, to fill that gap. In the meantime, you receive these federal funds, so use those dollars. And so what we're looking at right now is what will the state legislator do to help long term kind of meet this fiscal cliff that's looming as ESSER runs out.
Caitlin Windler, the district's Director of Finance and Operations, with us on Focus on the Falls. Okay, so now let's dive into the tax bill. So we all get a tax bill every year. It's got a lot of lines on it, a lot of numbers on it. Take us inside from the district's perspective, the things on the tax bill that reflect the work happening in the district. High level, I guess, first, tell us about the tax bill and what we should look at when we think about the school district.
Sure, absolutely. So one of the main things to note is that the tax bill is not just from the school district. So there are a few different taxing jurisdictions that are taxing a homeowner or a property owner. So the school district is just one of a few. It will be the county. It will be, if you're in Waukesha, the Waukesha Tech College, the village. So, and then also the school district. So the school district is just one of the few taxing jurisdictions that will show up on the tax bill. So it would be important for a property owner to take a look at the line items from each of those jurisdictions to see the tax impact from each one of them.
So when you look year to year on an actual tax bill, has it been going up recently, or is it going down, the percentage that the school district gets?
So the percentage that mill rate, that dollar amount, that is basically what you take times the equalized value of your home to determine what the tax bill will show, has gone down from the prior year to this tax bill that our property owners will receive. What's important to note is it's a little bit goofy the way that the school districts have to calculate that, and then the way that it's assessed to homeowners. And the school districts are calculating that based on an equalized property value per legislators, per the formulas that we have to work underneath. And then the municipalities take that and they are giving that out based on the assessed value of homes. So it's a little bit goofy, and it will make sense long term if legislators can kind of make that one unit of measure rather than two different units of measure, because it does make it confusing for property owners. But it is important to note that that tax is based on the assessed value of a home.
I mean, you do the numbers all the time, so you're used to this, but the rest of it, when I get it and actually try to figure it out, it's very complicated. It's not straightforward. It's not like a sixth grade math problem. It's like a physics, calculus. My gosh, I'm not very good at math problems.
Well, give me a call and I can help you out.
Okay, I'm absolutely going to do that. Being good stewards of our money. So you have to make decisions, and your department does in consultation with the school board, about how our money is allocated. How serious does the district, how serious do you take that responsibility? It's a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
You're stewards of our tax dollars.
Absolutely. And we work in a very public setting. We welcome feedback in our budget process. We have over 20 opportunities for the community to be involved in our public board finance committee meetings and our full board meetings. We welcome the feedback and the input on our budget as we develop it, because we don't take it lightly that this is a big responsibility and these are taxpayer dollars, and we do work to be good stewards of them while we support our academics for our students.
Is there a busy time of year for your department, or a less busy time of year?
I would say November is nice as soon as the last budget is approved, and right kind of as we're starting to work into the next budget, although it really never ends. But summer is our busiest time, so we're definitely working through summer as well.
Caitlin Windler is the Director of Finance and Operations with the Menomonee Falls School District. Anything we missed, anything people need to know about their tax bill, about the funding formula?
Just that this is, we don't take it lightly, and these are large dollars that we're talking about, and we welcome public input. We welcome the opportunity to meet our public, and whether it's giving me a call directly or coming to board meetings and asking questions, it's always out there, and we welcome that opportunity for our community members.
And great information on the district website. So if you want information on this, on the fun stuff happening in the district, check out the district website. That's your best source of information, updated constantly. Caitlin Windler, the Director of Finance and Operations in the Menomonee Falls School District. Thank you for chatting with us.
Thanks so much for having me.